this to start, we can have a look at the two deck lists.
Accepting responses.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so it's your boy Slogans with Bronze Fan Spawn of Fateful. Slogans drafted Brobnar this Untamed at the end of the day. As mentioned before, it's got that Legacy Snufflegator, which is definitely going to change the game. Do you have any more comments on this deck?
I mean, like, if we're being reasonable, it's got a lot of good stuff in it, right? Like the double Grumbuggy with quite a few massive creatures.
Yeah.
Triple Shula.
Nox. Tantadlin, yeah.
Yeah.
Grokeeper to bump those others up as well,
Yeah.
which is quite nice.
It's like a little. You can see how it wins games. He has a clear plan.
Yeah.
If your opponent doesn't have artifact control, I think the Grunt Buggies could really prolong a game. But
Okay.
However,
DaveCordeiro is running Cariso Chef de U boots. Brobnar Dis Logos, it's got 5 E-dies, as is, DaveCordeiro's kind of signature thing. I mean...
You apparently got this for less than $100.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, yeah, it's Dubsy Brobnar.
Probably because, people look at the Brobnar and go, you don't need to ever play the Brobnar.
Yeah.
It's just archive it, yeah.
I think the only reason you'd ever play the Brobnar is if you plan to puzzle it all.
I think you can occasionally play Ragnarok, but...
I was going to say, the Ragnarok is cool.
It feels like if he's ever playing Brobnar, the game is not going the way he wants it to.
Yeah. I've got a deck where I have the game plan is to archive out Shadows, because the Shadows is really unimpactful, and if it gets to the point where I'm calling that into hand and playing it, I've sort of already lost. It just hasn't happened yet.
I think if I remember right, that deck archives all the discs as well.
Is there any
And
way
it just goes down to Logos.
Is there any way Slogans wins this?
Like I say, I think
perfect.
I personally think a Duskwitch would be quite nice if he hasn't got huge numbers of answers. He's got a Sharp, the answer at the Ragnarok, which obviously isn't ideal. He could fight it off if he's got enough stuff to puzzle. But if there's not a huge board, if you get in a Duskwitch early, I think he could try and rush past it. But I think it's unlikely.
I guess there's maybe a possibility he just hits the board clear when he's absent an Eddie or an Exhume, but that's obviously a tiny set of circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, there's also just one with this as well. It's like the one slight anti-synergy is the Neutron Shark at the end of the day mills the Logos down. So if he gets to a point where he actually has a deck small enough that he's actually milling the E-dies instead of playing them, and he's had to archive with the Exhumes.
Your Neutron Shark ain't doing anything anymore.
He might not have. Well, the Neutron Shark becomes worse, and also the E-dies are then in the discard pile. And if he's had to archive Exhumes, then you could have you could find a turn where you don't forge for horrendous cost.
Does he have a way to ward the E-dice?
No, don't believe so.
No,
there's just so many of them.
There's no way to protect
3 Exhumes.
So,
I suppose it's worse if you kill one.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to protect them. The trouble you've got is that he's going to want to just constantly be exhuming them, and he's just going to thin his deck out to the point where...
I don't think he actually exhumes them, if I remember right. I think I've seen... It was earlier in the set, it was like really early, was Clive, but I think from what I saw of this deck, you just archive everything except the Logos and you just keep playing the E-dice.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean,
So that's how it works. You don't bother with the exhumes.
You might do it early on.
I think in this matchup,
you might want to exhume the Shark, just to get it back.
Just to get the other
He's going to want to get rid of those Grunt Buggies at all costs, so.
Yeah, for definite. Like I say, it seems not always going to be an E-die, but yeah, ideally he's just going to get it down to the point where, from when I remember playing it myself, it was just he just tried to get a board that was just constantly reaping on Logos. Normally with his NT, with a couple of E-dies out at any given moment, and then he just gets to the point where he's always got one in his hand.
And I don't know what Stu could do about it if that happens.
Like I say, I think you've got to try and get those first few keys early while the cost isn't stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing a huge amount of rush to. I mean, going to be
No,
fairly
first
quick.
is Soldiers to Flowers, which isn't early game.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I think, somewhat the trouble. I mean, he might be able to get a bit off a life web that hits. I mean, having the Tyler's Crocag being able to fight on every house is nice.
And if Dave puts the automaton down, the Crocag will never die.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, yeah. As long as it doesn't die, I mean, it'll just die when it takes 7 damage. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some board control as well. I mean, the unlock go in the Coward's End.
It's not a bad deck, right? It's just
No, yeah,
not-
that deck will wreck a lot of stuff. It's just playing
It's not on the same tier
one
as
of the
this.
most efficient decks in the world.
On the upside, the Hysteria is not spectacular for him.
No,
I mean, Stuart's got a lot of come into play effects of the Chieftains, the Shulas. You know.
Okay, so Stuart gets to go first.
yay. Go on, Slogans.
I'm not
Oh,
great. I think he'd probably want a board first, right?
Interesting choice.
does Dave do any stealing or capturing in this game? Oh, he's got Shattered Throne, but I'm guessing that doesn't get played.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it happens to be in his hand when he's forced to play Brobnar, then maybe. Yeah, it is an interesting
I
option.
don't know.
but
Sad.
I don't, it
might
depends what,
just
it
cause
depends
you more
what
harm
it
than
is.
good, though.
Yeah.
Post Pixies out particularly,
Yeah.
but the Pixies. I don't know,
That's one ED done. Is that good?
all right. There we go.
Don't
There we
know.
go.
It makes very little difference at this stage because he could quite as easily exhume it as
Four to
play
go.
another one.
Yeah, you could actually be
Here we go,
playing into
he's
his hand.
almost certainly
Yeah.
going to exhume one now, you'd have thought.
Which is actually a disaster, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh no, Bornet's touch hits the Grump Buggy. That is so bad.
Oh no.
Really unfortunate
That
for
is
Slogans.
almost game over in one move, isn't it? Oh.
But he's taking his time thinking about it, weirdly. And he's pressed the Glimmer!
Oh,
Okay, still in the game, still in the game.
Is he
I
worried
honestly
about the
don't think that's
dust
a bad thing.
glitch?
I
Yeah.
don't think he's worried about the buggy either. Like
Yeah.
he can shark that away. Like, and also the game going longer is probably better for him than it is for Stuart, because his deck just gets smaller and smaller, whereas Stuart's is just going
Yeah.
to slowly move through his because he hasn't.
Yeah, which is ultimately the problem Stuart's got, isn't it? His deck slows the game down, and the other deck wants the deck to be slowed down.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, that is a nice
Oh, and he
play.
hysteria'd it.
Yeah.
Getting the hysteria early, just saying, like, I think he could have been okay for Stuart. I mean, he could kill one of these, but still,
Yeah, but
great.
what difference does it
Like,
make?
he probably doesn't want to call Dis again anyway.
Killing a rock grub is always good, I guess, but
I mean, in this, it's not really that big an
No.
issue because he's only going to read with it and put it in his archives, and then it's
Yeah,
probably
they were
never
gonna
coming out
touch it.
again. Exactly.
yeah. Well, he's cleared the board.
Kind of don't
Looks like
want
he
to
might-
fight with the
I think
Foozle
he
though.
probably wants to keep Foozle, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, he chose to keep it.
I wonder if you want to not destroy it with Rock, because now he can exhume it if he needs it.
I don't think he's ever likely to exhume it. Not.
No, he won't waste it.
I feel like
Yeah,
if he's exhuming
I
a
just-
lock rock club,
here we
that's
go.
a win.
It's so stupid. It's just he dies every turn.
Archive of 4. Key cost 14.
Are we gonna hit triple figures? I think that's
Oh god, no! I think the real
Yeah, I
question
believe
is
so.
when do we hit?
No,
triple?
he banished
Oh, I love
Eli.
that play.
He
Yeah,
banished
That's
Eli.
that
That's
is a
good.
very interesting move. Yeah, I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
Oh, banish the Edai. That is brilliant.
I
If he
don't
had
think
4 more of those.
Yeah.
Be a game.
if the game lasts, then that's a relevant thing we didn't see before.
Yeah.
Okay. Good
it's
play.
one less E. It's one less E die.
One less. Yeah.
It is only 4 left.
Stacker's ridiculous. Just on the face of it is ridiculous.
Hmm.
Okay. So, Dave thinking about his turn.
Depending how many die.
Probably Logos.
Oh my god, he took his archive.
Wow, that's
He's going
interesting.
Rock.
Okay,
Yeah, Ragnarok.
He obviously wants that Edai back out.
yeah, I've decided.
Throne has come down, which is also quite.
Oh, that's pretty good then. Ragnarok should get rid of Stuart's board and then. Right.
But I suppose every Rockman card that's out on the board isn't his archive.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Shatter Throne isn't going to go away, right? I don't.
He
No.
could shark his own. It actually gives him something to shark that isn't his.
That's true. True. All I mean is I don't think Stuart's got any way of getting. He could bounce into hand actually, which is probably valuable. He's got grasping vines, right? So you could probably put him back in his hand
Archive stuff.
just to.
Well, he's in check.
Yeah, check on turn 4.
I don't think for long.
Nope, he's got
And
logo.
imagine-
Saw this at E-Day, yeah.
E-die.
At least one.
The best card in the deck, Quantum Finger Trap.
It's like
So
the only
valuable.
the only
To
bad
be
one.
fair, you guys say that it does allow him to move Zenzi to the middle every time.
I
Oh,
like
God, yeah,
finger
you're
trap.
right.
I think
Oh.
if you have finger trap in a good deck, you get way more use out of it than you will expect to.
And it really isn't bad in this at all. Every
Okay.
time, if you when you actually kill the Zenzi, he can just put it back in the middle.
Yeah. I'm just salty because I got a deck with 3 of the bloody things in.
Yeah, that's pretty useless.
Okay,
Okay.
check again.
Still on check.
Okay. How many
Um,
E-dies have we seen in this?
so there's got 2 in discard.
Two. Oh well, he's about to find another one with Igor if he didn't already have one in hand.
Do you think the Banish play came a bit early for Stuart here? He kind of wanted to
Yeah,
have a bigger
quite good
archive.
later on.
Yeah.
I mean, I think 5 cards in the archive is
Well, I
pretty
think it
chunky.
It puts an interesting decision on Dave where
Mm.
5 is sort of not enough that you're losing that much, but I didn't think he'd pull it actually, but I guess
I didn't either, but I think he wouldn't have done if there'd have been many more.
yeah.
And I think that's a shame because I think it would have been better for Stuart if he hadn't.
Oh, nice. That's a nice play.
Yeah, that is very nice.
At the moment,
Alright.
I mean, he's looking like he might actually be able to force a key through at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's building it up.
And the Shattered Throne's actually doing a lot of work for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thought
I'm
it might
surprised he
help him.
played the Shattered Throne. It's going to help Stuart more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sooner or later he'll start using the shark, and that's when he's
It's
going to get his
still-
hammer
yeah,
back, and he can
yeah.
get rid of the throne if he wants to. I don't think it's the biggest issue.
Okay, looks like we got an ED.
And to be honest,
It's
I wouldn't
just
even think
always
Need
an
another?
E-die, isn't there?
even
Oh
Stuart
my God, there's
forced
two.
it
So
through.
yeah, that's all of the E-dies now. There's 3 in discard, 2 in play.
How do you guys? I always hate this when the card pronunciations varies wildly from local meta to local meta. We got Eddie. We got Edie. Edie. I've heard people call it Eddie.
At least we can all
Yeah,
agree
I've heard
that,
Eddie.
that middle card's called Doubter, right?
Oh yeah.
Soldiers to flowers.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised he hasn't killed the E-dice here, because now he should know. I suppose the trouble is that he could always exhume 1. and
Okay.
That would put him to still +5.
There's
So
the
here we
game.
go. The hardest working Tantadlin in the game.
And he didn't leave it on a flank. Why did he leave it
Yeah.
on a flank for a Gangan
Yeah.
Chieftain?
Oh, I was going to exhume something. Perhaps an
Never.
Eddie.
Okay, so Nefru's out.
Oh god.
Which needs to be taken out first.
Did he
Yeah,
want
just
to
have
play
play
Players Pixies? So now whenever he captures, or is it just it's Players Pixies?
It's just one-sided, I believe, post
Ah,
Pixies.
okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So
Cool.
it's actually very good.
Yeah,
not
it's very
day
good.
fighting. Because the only thing is, if he'd have to fight once with the with something to
Oh my god, this is so
break
stupid.
the elusive.
Keys.
34.
4.
Oh my word.
He
Well,
just.
there's only one good thing here, is that actually now he's got 4 out, and they're all going to go into the discard pile.
Yeah.
So depending on how
And he's
many-
just reshuffled.
That's what I mean.
he
They're all
just-
going to go when these die. They're all going to go into discard, right? So
He just played the
depending
coward's end as well.
if he's already archived at like 1 or 2 one of the exhumes, that only leaves him with 3 possibly dice before he reshuffles, which won't be that long, but it's not bad.
Do you think Stu's holding Buggies waiting for Shark to make an appearance?
Shark's already been played. And it's been reshuffled.
I mean, there's triple exhume, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Can't hold the Grumbug.
I suppose one got discarded by Bornet, didn't it? So he might have just not hit the other one yet.
That's
And it's not like. and it's
No,
not
it got
like
reshuffled.
Oh, it gets reshuffled. It's not like Dave's gone into check, so I guess there's no need to just check. It's an interesting game.
Alright.
He's got to take out Eater, surely.
Oh, Shark and reassembling
Oh,
automaton.
it's just so disgusting.
Yeah. It's
So it's just
Bruce
like
combo that shit.
Oh,
There goes
no.
Eater of the Dead. That's any chance.
Oh,
I have.
okay.
Guys.
With Nethru. That is interesting. So now he's just giving Stuart so much amber.
I guess at 34 key cost.
because he
like,
just doesn't care, does he? I mean, he could literally give Stu up to 34, and it's still actually not that bad.
It isn't, but like at the same time,
Yeah.
if Stuart ever manages to catch him on a turn where he can't play an E-die,
Yes,
it means
yeah,
he's gonna have a lot of amber, and he's only gonna forge.
Yeah.
So I still
Sure,
think
you
it's
need
a bit of a poor move.
Nuke all the E-dies at the same time, really, don't you?
Yeah.
Does he do
You
grabs?
want
Just
to
after
leave
it?
them on board until you can kill them all.
I mean, I've
He
got to be
doesn't-
honest. I
But
don't
then he's
Basic
just
doesn't
gonna
have
reach.
mass amber control, does it? I don't think
No.
it did.
No.
No, so you might just want to build up a
Well,
giant
you
pile
say
of
mass
amber.
amber control. It's
Oh,
you know.
Forge Master
well,
of...
E-dies.
Except for the mass
Yeah, but-
amber control
I
that
mean,
we've been
there's no harm in Stuart going to like 30 fucking amber.
No, he could be sat there with as much amber as like, which is why I don't understand why he wouldn't kill the Nethru. I get that it's kind of stopping Stuart just killing his E-dies, but at the same time he could have. Yeah.
Well, I guess he gets Ember off it as well, though. It's not.
I'm not sure with the
Oh no, not with reassembling automatron. No,
Oh,
it
does he
doesn't.
not? Oh, interesting.
It has to hit the discard pile.
Like, I
Yeah,
guess it's just like
yeah.
if he kills all of his E-dies, then he's getting
Because I've
4 Ember off it. So it's like, well, you can forge a key, but you're going to give me enough Ember to forge an extra key myself.
That's quite nice, Gravekeeper.
I've had people lose games with my deck because it's got Obsidian Forge, Nethru, and a reassembling automatron, and they think they can kill it. They think they can kill it for an amber, and it doesn't, and then they lose.
Ooh.
So the Forge Master Og's actually
Okay.
doing some work here.
There's a first time for everything.
This is an interesting board.
Forge Master Org is a perfectly fine card.
He's just gonna reap out the love,
Yeah.
surely, right?
I mean,
No, he's gone into Brobnar.
it's
obviously got a hand of
quite a
Brobnar
cool
at the
effect stuck in a terrible house.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
So
gone.
he's just going to get rid of Igon the Terrible.
Oh,
Oh, he gets an Ember as
triggers
well.
Nethru, yeah. Never thought about that one.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Look,
I must admit, I'm surprised that the way this is going, that Stuart hasn't killed more of these E-dies. Well, he knows there's so few left in the
I
deck.
think this turn we're going to see a Brobnar turn and an E-dies all
You
dead.
see, now I think it'd be a mistake. I think you got to let him reshuffle first.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
You've got to let that deck flip back over, and then you've got to use that
I
Brobnar.
don't know,
Hope
but
he
if
doesn't shark your Brobnar off the board, and let those, and then you've got to kill those E-dies before, well, the deck's
Let's see.
the deck's
I
full
mean,
again.
we've been very down on his chances in this match for obvious reasons, but Stuart is very good at Keyforge.
Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah,
knows,
well, yeah,
he knows
definitely.
shit.
I mean, he's currently playing 12 of the 16 slots in this tournament, so...
Yeah, he made it this far.
I wouldn't read too much into this. This is what this deck wants. You know what I mean? This deck wants it to go long. He wants to filter out his deck. Like, he's not bothered how much amber he's got, as long as he can keep one E-die on the board every turn.
If he kills all the E-dies now, though, he's still got 4 cards to draw. He's not going to literally draw them next turn. So I
Yeah,
don't
but he
think
could-
pulling all the
he-
E-dies
he
now is
could-
too bad.
He could exhume up to 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
And then any of the remaining ones that he kills will go back in the discard pile.
Are any of
Which is
you
why
exhumed to the archives, though?
we don't know. It's not open hand, so we can't see. But the trouble is, so like, if he kills them all now,
right.
he could exhume. Even if he exhumes 2, right? He adds more cards to the discard pile. It puts his cost up by what? Probably near 20. And
Yeah.
then the others get shuffled back in. He needs to, I think, let the discard pile be reshuffled.
Here we go.
Then he's probably going to move to the middle in a minute.
Move in the middle. Yeah.
And then you've got to think next turn he's probably going to want a Brobnar turn.
So he's going to have a hand of, 9? And an archive of 9. So it's
So-
cycling.
Apologies to Quantum Finger Trap from before when I sassed you. Pretty good. Pretty good.
I stand by my
Can-
sass and
can
quantum
anyone-
finger trap. It's terrible.
Can anyone
Yeah.
remember if Stuart's played Unlock Gateway? Because I think a good
He
turn
hasn't
could
yet.
be- Could be to play some Shulas out, fight, just reap and do whatever else you need to do, and then
Key
just
cost is 52 currently.
Unlock Gateway after the reshuffle.
If he can get a fortune at 6, it is quite an interesting game. But
Even if he gets a forge in at like 18,
yeah,
he's doing alright. He's gonna reshuffle now, so maybe now comes the
So Stuart needs to get rid of that Forge Master Og.
Yes.
It's absolutely going to
Oh
screw him.
shit, he does as well.
Like
Yeah,
I honestly think could unlock Gateway now.
Can he get rid of it? Oh yeah.
The trouble is his deck's so small now.
Doesn't the Nephru trigger on Unlock Gateway though?
He could fight him. Surely,
No.
but he
No,
wouldn't
No,
because
but
it's
it's
killed at the
killing
same
at
time.
the same time.
Oh, okay.
So he
Oh,
can
because
use
it's
the
not
Force
destroy
Speaker.
trigger, is it? It's,
Also, gotta remember he's got a Dust Switch that Dave just doesn't give a shit about. That's just sat on the table. So he can reap with all of his stuff first.
Just shows how little fucks he gives about what Slogans is up to. The fact that just lived this whole time.
yeah.
It
The
just
thing is,
doesn't
Dave,
matter.
I think he's complacent playing this.
I mean, he doesn't have any steel capture really.
Yeah, I guess it's the premise of he doesn't need it, because...
Yeah, so it's like, why bother killing the post if he's not doing anything?
Answer those back to hands to it. Just bounce him. I know they give him Amber, but he doesn't want to be taking a Brobnar turn. I'm not sure why he didn't return the Shattered Throne.
I think 'cause he was about to fight and he wanted to capture.
Gives him that
Could've
first
done it
load.
Sequencing error.
I mean, I guess it's probably not the worst thing. He's probably just going to archive it if you put it up there, but I still don't think it's. I think it's worth doing just to put the card in hand.
So Stuart's down to 5 cards left, so he's gonna draw the Unlock Gateway if he doesn't already have it.
Yeah.
Well, he's down
Like I
to
think,
down to 1 left, so maybe he won't. But
So Dave forges the second key.
which is what I think one more Logos turn. Unfortunately, this thing's over though.
Yeah.
He's gonna probably have like a Telltale Vapors or something in hand to draw more. He's gonna reap with all of those. This is
Yeah,
what
he
does.
creates a situation where the wrong move is both to keep everything alive and to kill everything.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, his deck is 7 cards now. Like this is why
Yeah.
I think he had to unlock Gateway last turn if he had it, and it wouldn't have bought him very long, but it might have been able to get him a key. This game's been over the last couple of turns, though. I think.
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
why I say it looks like you do well against this deck because you're just maintaining like kind of a board control. But the trouble is you're forging it.
Also, you're earning a lot of amber. Like, he's earned 27 amber in a game. Is not bad. That will win you a lot of games.
And it feels
And
good to do.
It hasn't even got him a
nothing.
key.
Yeah. And now he can't clear the board, because if he clears the board, Dave gets enough ember to forge.
So what he might try
That's
and
how he
do
does
is
it,
fight it off with the Brobnar, right? I mean, hopefully, like you say, he's going to get rid of the Forge Master. He's going to First Blood for, what, 2-4? Then he can bring in Brobnar stuff ready. So he can potentially kill all the E-Dies. And then you've got to ask the question of how many Exhumes does Dave have? Does he have enough Exhumes that he can put, what, 2 E-Dies on the board for 2 turns?
At this point, he surely 100% does. Because in his archives, or...
I think
Well, no,
one Exhume?
we haven't for a while because the trouble is we don't know how many is archived.
So I've just double checked the Nephru ruling because we had a question in chat, and no, creatures destroyed at the same time leave play at the same time, so Nephru isn't in play when the ability should trigger.
Oh, there we go. All the E-Dies are dead. He brought in some creatures and thought, get rid of that Forge Master. Come on, Stuart.
Okay, and the second Grunt Buggy's in, so this is looking good.
He did forget
Forge Master Og is dead. Hooray!
Yeah, but he forgot to destroy the Nephru.
Okay, his keys cost.
He did that last. Which
Oh.
is like 5 amber.
No, Jesus.
That is
Okay, but his keys cost 8.
Which is
and he's got 30 amber, so if he stalls out 3 turns.
Okay, there's the other buggy.
Oh, here comes an Exhume, probably.
Well, got four E-Dies in discard.
That rock grub's making a huge impact on the game.
He's not picked up his archives,
The
so...
MVP of the Rock Grub.
I guess why archive it when you might be able to reap it into archives at the time you're choosing.
Mm.
It's a low priority target, I suppose. It's got a good play effect and it has another way of getting into the archive.
I mean, also, like, anytime he gets a chance, he's going to archive Brobnar, you know. It's going to becomes a question of, like, what's the least valuable disc thing that you can archive? Yeah, the Rock Grub's probably fairly decent on that list, but it's not going to
Ooh, he purges that
Get
banish.
through the banish,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's unlucky.
Not
Yeah.
falling for that again.
Once bitten, twice shy.
Oh.
That's game.
Yeah.
That's game.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if he can fight enough and bring enough stuff out to stop him at 14.
Oh no.
He's gonna Exhume.
If only he had
See what I
2
do.
key cheats in hand.
No, right? That'd be alright, wouldn't it?
Have you got a Chota?
He's thinking about this for some reason.
Well, it's 'cause he doesn't really need to bring.
There's not much to exhume.
He's probably thinking as much about what to archive, to be fair.
That's true, actually. Oh, there's a double.
There's the other one.
God.
He might have been considering Zenzi.
Oh, he had all three.
Oh, Jesus.
The odds are he was. He hasn't played this for how many
Oh,
turns? He's been
that's-
through
Yeah.
the deck
Yeah,
twice.
yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to the exhumes would be low down on your priority list of archiving because they're so useful.
I mean, like, you got to look at this guy's right. I mean, he's got 3 cards in deck and 9 in his discard, and that's after a board clear. So he's going to flip again at the end of next turn.
Yeah.
So even if he wasn't going to win this game is so far beyond right now.
He's got more cards in his archives than his draw and discard
Fucking hell.
combined
Key cost of 42.
now.
Oh, he's got exactly the same 3 and 9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Each of the Dead was what could have swung things, I guess.
Like I say, I think an early Dusk Witch, because I feel like you've got to forge the first couple of keys early against this. You know, you've got to quite quickly.
I guess he didn't draw the gateway until very close to the end.
Yeah, and then it became.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe he just didn't think there was any value in it. You know,
Well-
he had a big board. He was getting a lot of amber off it. I think it was probably the right play to kill it, but
Well, that was as ridiculous as I think we all thought it was going to be.
pretty much.
I wonder what that 5 Edo deck loses to.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I
It
have
was.
beat it.
In fairness,
So-
Maybe?
yeah,
it
like,
was-
Yeah,
So it lost
Or
in the
just
last. He played it in the last Glorious Hue, and it got beat by one of the tabletop Real guys playing a deck that's like double Infernus, double Hysteria, triple Mustic Mummy.
Yeah.
Or
I think
just,
a hideous amount of purge should probably deal with it.
or just a big enough board and everything else. I beat it with George's in one of the Kip tournaments. And
Oh, really?
Purge all the E-dice.
yeah, well, I mean,
True.
I could always fight his E-dice off the board, so I just managed to forge at times where I think I forged the first one cheap for just over kind of 6, because I fought his E-dice off early and it made my big board and reaped for it.
Right, we're going to get Stuart in here for a post-match interview.
Where do you think it all went wrong?
I believe it was when he picked a deck with 5 E-dice.
I see the narrative of Vanilla Scout losing the first round, so we get an even better montage, 80s movie, become better thing. It's going well.
Yeah,
It's all going to plan.
there was a chance he could have won that Jenko matchup, but it didn't play out apparently.
That actually works out really well because we're going to be covering that game.
Yeah, I know. I have split loyalties now. I don't know if I need to go put on my Team NL badge.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh, I know, controversial. Look, I've lost to that deck so many times. It'll be good if someone else does.
And also with that 5 Edo deck, if you Eaton's jarred the Edis, even though
He doesn't do anything, yeah.
even though he can remove them, that if he doesn't draw into the shark quickly, that's 5 cards he can't play.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it would do
I
something.
think
You'd have
If
to
you
hold-
were
you'd have to
against
hold-
the jar deck, you'd hold the shark.
No,
You'd hard mulligan for it and hold on to it, yeah.
Afternoon.
Hey, Stuart.
We watched that game and saw it. We thought you were doing pretty well, actually.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel about that game?
Unsurprised. Would have been nice to get a key.
Yeah, I thought you were going to get one.
I had hopes at one point I might get a key, but I did kind of guess you probably had the exhumes in hand, so
Yeah, it's the logical thing to keep, isn't it?
yeah, there wasn't much shock there. Yeah, I think it was unfortunate that I didn't draft particularly well, and I think it was unfortunate that I paired up again. One of the best players with one of the best decks, but
Yeah.
it's pairs for you, isn't it? So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're unlucky, man. I think the deck you've got is a very nice deck that will cause problems for a lot of people. This one, it just doesn't. It's a horrible matchup, even outside of his 5e dice. You know, the ability to get rid of your grunt buggies would cause you enough problems on their own, even if you played fair, so to speak, and didn't archive everything and played the same house for every other turn.
Well, I mean, the Resembling Automaton and Shark is a beautiful combination, which obviously gives him ball control without having to worry about losing any creatures, which helps him as well, doesn't it? So.
You say that, he gave you a lot of amber through it though, just because for some reason he decided to keep hitting his reassembling automaton instead of getting rid of his own Nefru. Yeah.
But I guess when keys cost 63 amber.
Yeah, who cares?
It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter how much your opponent's got. So I can't remember what the highest cost was, but I think it was somewhere like 63.
Oh, he could have given you 10 more amber and it would have changed anything in that game.
He basically had the ball control and the amber control, the key cost control. So yeah, I knew going in.
Yeah.
Stand a chance. I don't know how I'm going to do against Vanilla Scout.
We all enjoyed banishing the Edai.
Yeah, that was great play.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't think any of us expected him to pick up his archive afterwards either.
No.
We thought he'd just leave it.
Well, that was a rule suggestion. She was like, if you can put the Edai in the archive, that kind of screws up his play. So I was looking for a deck with Banish, but when you're restricted to those three houses, your options are slightly limited. And also when you have to physically locate the deck.
Oh god, yeah.
So I went through my entire collection looking for those house combinations. And,
Wait, do you guys not have your decks meticulously organised in an elaborate, complicated system?
Oh, that's
Everything's my house. I thought everyone did that.
well, when you've got more than two, it's a bit hard.
You should be alright then, Stuart, because you told us on Friday you only have two.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, back when I had one deck, I was really on top of my organisation, but it went down very quickly.
Fell apart after that. I keep seeing the paperclip in Challenge, but I can't see the attachment.
I don't.
Yeah, they might be waiting for every game redone.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the challenge integration works on this kind of elimination bracket because I've only ever done it on Swifts. So.
It's got the attachment, but there's no attachment there yet, so that's fine. I'll just wait, I guess.
So what you're saying is on Wednesday we need to do this kind of thing just so we can find out.
But it's one of those frustrating things when you do, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm humble bragging, but when you do well, and then the person directly below you is one of the best players with one of the best decks, and they came in ninth, so you end up playing them. And it's like, oh, if I'd have ended up 10th instead of 8th, I wouldn't have played this guy, you know.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine Dave not winning the tournament.
Well, I was thinking about this for my bracket predictions, and it was like, what beats this deck?
Well, let's have a look at what he's playing next.
Yeah, let's have a look at Big Z's deck.
It's Jenka bullshit, which is one of the things that I thought might have a chance. Because if you can...
Okay, so here's the deck. Jenka with Proliferator to Mars first.
You want your key cost high in Jenka.
Ooh, actually, the carpet flotsam could be massive.
Yeah, so if you can like clear, so if you can clear the,
Yeah.
So if you can clear the board, then Jenka and do that several times with that, which that deck maybe can.
Is that the one we've played? Like I'm sure some of us played it in the qualifiers.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can collect a worm the E-die.
You Mars first to collect worm into the E-dies. I've actually done that in a game before where I had to just keep taking. I think it was only 3 E-dies, but it was every time I took one off the board, it was just a step closer to winning for me.
It's a really interesting matchup.
Well, you can watch that back on insert stream name here after the tournament.
Yeah, I'll be clipping all of the games, so they'll be available as highlights for ever, I guess.
Just because I know you guys will be honest, I didn't make any massive misplays, did I?
We could see hands.
I think there was a sequencing error that you might have done, but...
Did you not kill the Nefru last at the end?
Oh yeah, I was.
I think the game was over then, but...
Yeah, I mean, I was doing that to gain more amber, because I was just like, the only way I'm going to get a key is if I have a ridiculous amount of Ember. So yeah, no, I deliberately chose to leave it to last.
I think we thought you'd return Shattered Throne with Grasping
Yes.
Vines as well.
Not tonight. Beat the Heart of the Forest guy.
Hey.
Yes!
That's a good one for my bracket. A good one for my bracket. That.
So,
That's a good one for everyone.
what was that, Joe?
Yeah.
I
It
think
is a good day when Heart of the Forest loses.
It was whether you should have returned the Shattered Throne or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a mistake though. It's
But I mean, like
I
between.
just figured that would give him more Amber.
Yeah.
So,
It would, but I think any time he calls Brobnar, that's a win for you, right? I mean,
well, I guess.
I mean,
so,
what
yeah.
would have happened is he'd have called this like he did and just archived it straight away. So it would have
Yeah,
been
I
actually
agree.
great.
I agree
That's
with
a good
you.
point.
I mean, I was looking at it as like my creatures are more likely to survive, so I captured his Amber.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wasn't attacking really, was he? So
I mean.
yeah, like I said, honestly, I don't think there were any mistakes. You know,
No.
there might be things that I think you could have made an argument you could have done, but
Yeah.
I don't think there was
That's
anything
no-
you can call a mistake.
so embarrassing. Like, oh,
No.
next year they would have gone 3 or something. But I
And we
couldn't
were
do
racking our brains to try and come up with a way you could win the game, and it looked kind of like what you did. So I think the fact that between all of us we couldn't come up with anything better than that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I wasn't trying to be pessimistic, but I was just like, I'm not going to win.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just don't want to embarrass myself. That was,
Oh, no, no.
that was my logic. Just don't make any ridiculous boneheaded plays. But you
Yeah.
know, and it would, I say, it would have been nice to get a key.
Yeah.
You know, just I knew he'd have the exhumes. I mean, the logic with the deck as well was the Eater of the Dead. If I could get the Eater out of the Dead, then it was
Oh
fine.
yeah, that would have been huge.
I could have
Yeah.
taken out the E-Dies, but
You've got to assume that he's
Go
on
on.
it. You also got to assume that he's on it enough to never let that happen.
Yeah, he's not going to let that live.
And also the other issue with that. Yeah,
It takes too long to build up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The other issue is it takes so long to build up that by then he'll just have a big archive that he calls, puts down, and then that's just a new thing you can't deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, the deck is ridiculously good. I'm not sure I own a deck that could even beat it. I mean, maybe my Kota Rush deck could outpace it. The problem is the Kota Rush.
But that deck's got no way to get rid of the E-Dies, though, has
No,
it?
it's all, the creature control is balanced.
But I mean, yeah, but you just like you have to like Nature's Call key charge 3 times.
Yeah. Just have to outpace the E-Dies. Or, you know. I mean, I can kill stuff with it. I've got Dodger and Pawn Sacrifice. So I can temper it, you know, if I can kill it before he's got the exhumes. But yeah, I mean, it's moot because, of course, I didn't get to play that deck because I didn't draft it. So,
I think collector worms with Mars first could be a nice way to deal with them, but it
Yeah.
relies on getting it at the perfect time.
yeah, I mean, on my Infernus deck I found, but again, it's not in the right houses.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, I just didn't really sit down and look at the draft properly. I just kind of went through it. I'll see what happens. I've made it.
Yeah, I've had that draft file explicitly several times and read it, and I still don't get it. So it's fine.
The problem is there's so much to go on, and people are like, you shouldn't have let Dave get those houses. It's like, well, you have to collude.
Yeah, the
Everyone
thing
else
is
would
that
do it.
it's almost impossible to hate draft in that format.
Yeah, you can't do it, which is probably an advantage of it, but it just means Dave is always going to get that deck, and he's always going to aim for that deck, so it's going to be impossible.
And he's practiced. He said in the chat he's practiced, so he knew how to draft. And I think out of everyone, he had the most practice at that format. I'd
Right,
never done it before. Kate very kindly explained how it works. But when you sat down, you're going, oh, hang on a minute, I'm now got to play Brobnar?
I took part in a few of the practices when they were doing it, and because I realised the way to basically get what you want is to pick a Mars or Brobnar deck that you really want to play with,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
just
that
aim for that.
That was Kate's advice, and I probably
Yeah.
should have followed it, but
Because Chick's got a really nice rush deck with Mars in it, and I found when I was aiming for that one, I think 3 times in a row I got it when I was trying to get it. So just because everyone else is so anti-Mars and Brobnar that you can pick them up.
Yeah, every time I did that draft, I got Cthulhu. Every single time.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, if I'd have
Pretty
been
wind up playing a lot.
if I'd have been happy to borrow a deck, or happier to borrow a deck, and if I'd have had time to confirm, perhaps with Matt, that I could borrow his deck.
That would have been the one to angle for, if you ask me.
Yeah, you would have definitely got Sasha.
I just felt because of the way he went out to approach.
Yeah.
Kate very generously offered me her deck, but again, I kind of felt like I wanted to play my own deck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've always done. It's probably not the right tactic.
No, I think sometimes it's nice to see how your deck's doing events.
Yeah.
And if you keep borrowing decks, you don't
I just want to say now the games are up, so
Cool.
So get in there and good luck.
yeah.
But
Good
I
luck.
can't see my attachment still.
A big question before in the post-match interview: are stilts a vehicle?
I'll have to take that under advisement. Yeah, not seeing. I might lose a bracket up yet.
Yeah, all of the games are up.
Oh, okay. Just not seeing it in the channel for some reason.
If you go over.
Right, yeah, I've got it now, thank you.